Well, whether you're just dealing with rusty nuts and hardware, or you got a full-on stuck shaft like I'm dealing with here today, you've basically got two options. Either patience or purchasing power. And there's always a third option, which is just sheer power. You just rip it out, break it off, torch it out, whatever you want to do. What I'm messing with today is a couple of tie rods off of a go-kart. I've already started working on one of them, and I've gotten it to where it'll turn about a full turn almost on one end and about a half a turn on the other end. It was almost as stuck as this one. This one I've already had in the vise and tried to turn it a little bit. I put some penetrating oil on it, and it's been sitting for about 3 or 4 hours. I'm going to see if I can get it to loosen up. And because I would like to reuse this, this is just a piece cut out of an old glove right here. Just a little piece of leather that I can wrap around here. I'm going to clamp it right about here. This will just keep it from getting scarred up too bad in the process. And what I'm going to try to do is get it to turn just a little tiny bit. All right, it's turning. Actually, that's turning pretty easy once it snapped loose. Next step, get the other end to come loose. Get that locked in there nice and tight. Nope, that ain't gonna come loose. I'm going to move it out so it's a little ways away from the plastic, because what I'm going to do is apply just a little tiny bit of heat to it. Tighten that up a little more. That should do it. Handy dandy instant fire. And presto, it's moving. So now that I've got it broke loose and it's moving a little bit, I'll just start rocking it back and forth a little bit until it feels like it wants to stop, and it's a little stiff right there and right there. And all I'll do, spray a little lube on it, let it soak into it, work it back and forth to where it feels like it wants to stop. Because this is a steel rod end in an aluminum shaft, and if I just keep trying to turn it and force it, it's just going to gall up the threads, and whatever corrosion is in there is going to ball up and start ripping the thread out, and then this thing will be locked in place. And then I'll have to use my purchasing power instead of my patience. And this might take 5 or 10 minutes rocking back and forth to get it to come loose. And I could grab my torch and just throw a whole bunch more heat to it, but I really don't want to heat up anything any more than I have to. As long as it's moving, and it's not, like I said, it's not tight at all when I hit the stop. It's easy to turn and just get snug, and that's where I stop. And I just keep going back and forth. Try to favor it a little bit towards the screwing it out direction. This is the left-hand threaded end. See, I'm going all the way to there now, all the way around to here, so I'm over half a turn. Let's just change the position of it a little bit in the vise. I don't know if you can see that on the camera. It twitches a little bit right there. Every time I hit the end, I can see it flex just a little bit. It won't be long now, it'll be out. Flip around half a turn and see what we get. Trying not to tear it up, want to keep it kind of clean, looking good. Could use a little bit thicker piece of leather, but hey, there it went. It just went past the sticky part, and I think it'll go a full round now. Let's try it by hand. Yep. A little more lube on it. Well, it's still a little stiff. Let's do it this way. Now we can get the old 360-degree spin on it. It's just a little bit more than what I can turn by hand right now. If you've ever worked with aluminum or stainless steel, if the threads start to gall up in it, it's toast, it's done. So you want to take your time. Oh, just got quite a bit easier to turn. And now that I've taken this all the way apart like this, I'll be able to get the threads nice and clean, put it all back together, and whenever I go to adjust the toe on the go-kart, it'll be nice and easy to adjust instead of having to clamp on this with some vice grips or something and scar it all up. Oh, it's left-handed threads. I'm working on pulling the other end out here, and it's gone one full round, but all of a sudden, it started squeaking. And if it starts to squeak, you don't want to push it past that, because that's a sign that the threads are going to get hot. And when the threads get hot, they gall up. When they gall up, they come out with the bolt. So this will take a little bit to get this one out, just like the other one. But this is basically the same thing, whether it's steel and aluminum or regular steel on steel, stuff like this. Once you get it to wiggle just a little bit, just wiggle it back and forth, work in some lube, some penetrating oil, whatever you want to do, and it'll come loose. And a little heat, always your friend. Squeak, squeak, squeak. Doesn't squeak, screwing it back in. It's real easy going back in too. Gets about right there. You can feel a little resistance, and then the next time around it starts squeaking. Come on, baby. I know you can do this. We'll probably let that one soak a little while. And I could use penetrating fluid on that, but I've already got it moving, so I don't know how well the camera's going to pick this up, but you can see the threads are nice and clean and straight in there. And there's a little piece of a thread caught right in there, but it did not tear all the threads out, so everything seems to be okay. I'll just clean these threads out. All the threads down inside the tube look good. So got lucky on that one. If that one had sat around a little longer and corroded, or if I tried to pull it out a little faster, it probably would have tore it up. And you can either clean these threads out with just a wire brush or a little tiny scribe. And all you're doing with the scribe is just taking the tip of the scribe, dragging it through there. And that takes them right out. I know there's not enough light for the camera to really see what I'm doing, but those little tiny chips are disappearing. A little bit of wire brushing. Use a wire wheel if you got it. I've got one, so I'll probably use it on some of these. This one seems to be cleaning up really easy. I think that'll work. And if you've got some small wire brushes like that, you can wire brush the threads and stuff out on the inside. Get all that crap to drop out of there, hopefully. Just keep spinning it like that and just screw the dirt right out of it. Actually, I'm going to have to, because I can't just pull it out. Oh, there it comes. And then you look around for what you just had. There it is. Spin that bad boy down in there. It should go in there real easy. It's a little draggy. Takes a little more effort than what I'd like to see to get it in there. So we'll clean a little more dirt out of those. Be right back. Stay recording. I bought this little brush set off Amazon just because I was cruising around on Amazon. It looked like something I could probably use one day, and I've had it for 6 or 8 months. Haven't used it a single time, but figured I'd try it for this. I'm going to use a plastic brush to go up inside this because I don't want to tear anything up. I want to just take the dirt off, not take any of the aluminum off. Threads in, threads out. See if that cleaned it up. If you turn it the right direction, it will go together. Oh yeah, that worked. Hey, used it one time. Well worth the purchase price. All right, just got 3 more of those to do, and then I can stick this thing back on the go-kart, have a nice, easy adjusting tie rod. Just thought while I was doing this, I'd shoot a little video and show how patience pays off when you're working with stuff like this. If you try to rush taking stuff apart, that's, especially if it's made out of aluminum, it's not going to go well. Now I will put a little drop of oil in those so that they don't seize up again, and should work for a good long time. At least another 15 or 20 years, however old that go-kart is. Well, this is turning into a parts reconditioning video here because this tie rod was only threaded in about that far. That's where its adjustment point was at. It made it so that the threads deeper down in have probably got a little extra corrosion in them, so I'm just going to, by hand, nice and easy like, run a tap in here, clean out those threads in the bottom, and see if that helps me be able to have full adjustment if I was to ever need it on this rod. I'm crazy like that, you know. Once I start on something, I just can't stop. Gotta be, well, you know, gotta be good enough for me. Not perfect, but good enough for me. Spin this down in there and see how it goes. Go gadget fingers. Yep, that's where it was sticking at before, and it's actually going past that now, so yep, there we go. 3 more of them to get perfect like that. Not much I can do with the left-handed threads. Can't run a tap down through there because I don't have a left-handed tap, but that one's going in just fine. Hopefully the other left-handed thread goes in. Well, if you're still watching, this is what I did all that for. Just so I could adjust the toe in on an old go-kart. This thing's been sitting out in my shed for, I don't know, 6, 7 years, maybe longer. I turned it over a few times, but it's been several years since I messed with it, and I had the exhaust taped over. Tape came off the exhaust. Moisture got down in the engine, I guess. Locked up the motor. I got the motor free. It kind of turns a little bit. Still got to tear it down and check it out. Putting a new seat on it. There's the old seat down there. It's kind of a kid-sized seat. It's rather tight, so we're going to put a big kid-friendly seat on it. Well, that's all I got. Thanks for watching.